What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to Tom and Joey Entertainment, a.k.a. TJENT. This is Real Talk with Tom and Joey, episode 11.
Yes, 11.
Yeah, because double digits first time last week. I am one of your hosts, Joey Prokes. Alongside me is my partner in prime, Tom Hazelwood. Tom, what's happening?
Not much.
That's a
Chilling.
flashback. Chilling.
Yeah. What's happening?
What's
Wait,
what's
his
happening?
his happening.
Yeah, what is his happening? So you doing good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Straight.
Just chilling?
Yeah.
Chilling on a long week. We had a vacation day yesterday. You saw us on Instagram. I posted a cute little dog photo.
Yep.
To kind of make up for it. I'll take the blame. My procrastination. If you watched our last week's episode when we talked about ways that we want to do better ourselves, my procrastination, ways that I could better myself, has not been effective thus far. And I waited to do an assignment. Didn't think it was going to be as time consuming as it was. And we just didn't get time to record, and I didn't get time to edit the recording because we didn't record. So we had a little vacation day yesterday. Nonetheless, we're going to be doing 3 topics this week for this episode. So we'll still be able to push out a topic tomorrow, today, which is Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then obviously Friday as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Real Talk with Tom and Joey. Every single weekday that's not Monday, because it's straight gaming, Tom and I bring 2 random topics of discussion to the table for your entertainment, while most importantly keeping it real. If you enjoy what we do, head over to patreon.com/TJENT, where you can donate $1, $2, $5, or $10. Get some sick-ass rewards, including these stickers, and we just began to send those out.
Yes.
A few people got our stickers already, and they are very dope. You can get the white or the orange. I can't tell if I'm... Nope, white, orange, or if you get both.
Yeah.
You can do
whatever.
that as well. So, Tom, if they don't want to watch us on YouTube, where can they go?
Head over on. Head over onto iTunes.
Yes.
Onto iTunes. Wow,
onto
that's
iTunes.
That's a lot of T's.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
If you're over to iTunes, see, I mixed it up too. Give us a subscribe and a review. That would be really dope. Or you can go to soundcloud.com/TJENT, where you give us a listen as well in our podcast version. So if you don't know,
Now you know.
now you know. Tom, kick us off with a Patreon supporter request.
Yep. So this question is actually going to come straight off of Patreon. So I'm going to use my phone and read it verbatim. It comes from Adam Plumstead,
Shout out.
the one and only. This is actually a 3-parter question.
All right.
So
Ready for a heated topic.
the thing is, okay, so this centers around the idea of politics and sports, and obviously after last weekend, kind of an unavoidable issue, but this was written before all the protests. So this we'll probably start off not addressing that, and then we'll probably get there and make our way there eventually.
Yeah.
So I know this was a little bit long, but I wanted to ask you guys a 3-part question. 1, do you like/agree with the movement sports anchors like Jemele Hill and ESPN are moving towards, or do you hate/disagree with it? Parentheses, I don't like it. I watch sports to get away from politics. I don't want to hear about it while watching the NFL. And just a quick little synopsis. Basically, Jemele Hill has been known to not be a huge fan, to say the least, of the president, Donald Trump. And she tweeted out something. I don't know what it was verbatim, but it was something like he was a white supremacist or something like that.
Yeah, it was a response to someone that tweeted at her, and she said, Trump is a white supremacist, and he has surrounded himself with other white supremacists.
Okay. So question number 1 is, do we like the way ESPN's going, things like Jemele Hill? Do we disagree with it? Part 2 is, do you think that Jemele Hill should be punished for exercising her First Amendment rights? Again, he wrote, I think she shouldn't be fired for political beliefs, but has to be aware that she represents the company, not just herself. And number
he said she shouldn't be fired?
She should not be fired.
Should not be fired.
Right.
Okay.
And then number 3, if you think ESPN is in trouble with their new direction they are taking by trying to do more than just reporting sports, how would you go about solving ESPN's problem? I think question 1 and 3 are about the easiest they can be. I think 2 is the beefy one.
Okay.
But we'll start with 1. Do you you like the way that ESPN's going? Because politics is part of ESPN now.
Yeah.
That's just, you can't avoid that.
Yeah.
You look at First Take, I would say even on FS1 with Colin Cowherd for sure. Colin Cowherd injects like analogies with politics all the times. All the time. So it's pretty much unavoidable. But there's definitely a trend with ESPN with politics, and I'll take it a step further. I think ESPN is just getting away from sports in general and getting into, I honestly, like, to me, they've just become the TMZ of sports most of the time. Mm-hmm. They just get into these stupid LeBron tweeted at blah blah blah, and he wore number 6 at practice. Does that mean he's going back to and it's just they've gotten away from the highlights in the actual sports to they're not talking about that. So do you? I'll reiterate the question. I mean, first off, do you agree that the ESPN's going in this general direction, or do you kind of see it a different way?
Yeah, I think when you say the TMZ of sports, that makes more sense to me, because when you say politics and them edging towards politics, because Jemele Hill didn't, as far as I know, she didn't make any comments about Trump or towards Trump on SC6 on the show itself.
She has.
Oh, she has
But
before?
because they've all talked about him.
Okay.
I mean, I've yet to see a show on ESPN not address Trump at some point, personally.
And I mean, you can probably say to the point where it's ESPN kind of trying to regain the massive amounts of audiences that they've lost.
Yeah.
Because they're hemorrhaging viewers, they're hemorrhaging money.
Right.
They just dropped, what was that, like 40 employees?
I think the total is over 100, including like
some
low
super high,
I mean,
low level guys, and then some high profile names.
Yeah, definitely.
Well. So
and Disney dropped them.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that you can definitely make a case
or they're going to drop them. I don't know.
Is it? Oh yeah, because Disney owns ESPN.
Yeah, I think they had a plan to sell, because for some reason I want to say Netflix bought them or something like that.
That sounds familiar, but yeah, I don't know.
I can't really remember.
But I think they're more edging towards being more about like a social media, or like you say, a TMZ of sports, rather than straight political, because they don't like talk about Trump specifically and hate on him constantly like every day. But we've mentioned the LeVar Ball stuff as well early on.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they're form of a reality TV show, to the point where they think internally, where it's like, okay, these people, our viewers, care about the sports, but really they just want to see the reality TV show part of it. Oh, what did Kyrie Irving say? What did LeBron say?
Yeah.
What did just an NFL example? I mean, they talk about Kaepernick all the time, but that has more so to do with, and the way because we've talked about this all the time, the way they formulate the Kaepernick argument, and the way that a lot of people formulate the Kaepernick argument. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that what he's done and the protests and all that stuff is wrong by any means. I'm on the side of the players and free speech. But we've talked about this before. No one seems to understand the fact, except LaShawn McCoy, who came out with I forget what his exact quote was, but I remember loving it, because he came out and said something in regards to Kaepernick when he was talking about why he hasn't been signed by another team. And he talked about how, I don't think it has anything to do with the protests. I just think that there's two factors that Kaepernick is why he hasn't gotten signed yet. It's one, he's not very good. And two, if he was good enough to make a backup position, which I think he is, but he wants starter money.
Yeah.
So
that's the kicker, because he definitely could be a backup.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, without a doubt, he's better than, I agree with any player who says that there are some quarterbacks than he is better than who are starting. Yeah. You are better than Tolzien, and I would rather have Colin Kaepernick than Jacoby Brissett, for sure. But I'm not going to pay you $14 million.
Exactly.
Because I have Andrew Luck still.
Yeah.
Or whoever it is.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor, or, I mean, Jets have McCown? The Jets? Yeah, Jets have McCown, and then Bears have Glennon. I would rather take a shot on a rookie than spend $14 million on a year who does have baggage. I mean, he does, no matter what.
It's like, regardless of what you think of the protests itself, I mean, it's the same thing with how Michael Sam came into the NFL a few years ago, and he was the first openly gay NFL athlete. And I'm by no means am I saying there's a problem with that. I mean, that's awesome that he came out and felt comfortable enough to come out and was welcomed in the NFL, but each team he went to was just like the headline story of ESPN, and it was to the point where
he wasn't good.
Yeah, and he was on the practice squad, and these teams are probably like, we don't want to make the headline. We just kind of like his talent and see if he's good, and then if he's not, because then what happens is that if you sign him, whether it's Kaepernick or Michael Sam or any other player in this situation, you sign him and then you cut him, and then people just freak out.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, why'd they cut him? Did he cut him because he was gay, or did he cut him because he was protesting in Kaepernick's situation? So I just think that people overlook the hardcore details of a situation and rather focus on what they think, I don't really know how to put it, like what they think should be the problem.
Right. Okay, I'll bring us back, because well, it's just impossible to avoid it.
Yeah.
But, so do you think that ESPN, let's just say the general trend is politics? I would agree with you. I think politics is a part of ESPN for sure, and it's definitely trending more.
Because politics can mean a lot of different things.
Yeah, very true. I would say that the majority of their time is focused on bullshit.
Yeah.
But politics is trending in it. And I'm going to side with Adam here on the sense that I don't even want Trump's name mentioned on ESPN's network.
Exactly.
Like,
and we don't on the show for that. I mean, obviously we're smaller than ESPN, but we do that for the exact reason.
Yeah.
You don't come here to learn about Trump.
yeah, and it's not even him. It's anything. I literally, when I turn on ESPN, I want to shut my brain off.
Yeah.
I want to watch Dante Hightower light up Reggie Bush as hard as a human possibly can and put him in a walker.
Yeah.
Like that's what I watch sports for. I just
That's what I want to enjoy.
Yeah. I want to watch a free kick from 35 yards out from Messi and just shit everywhere, you know?
That's more my
like,
range.
like those are the things I want to watch when I watch ESPN. I want to watch highlights. I want to watch rankings. I want to lose my mind because Michigan State's not ranked where I think they should be, or the Lions fall in the power rankings after
Even
they
though
beat
they
the
won.
Giants
Yeah.
on Monday Night Football. That's what I want to talk about. And that's what I want to watch. I don't want to talk about anything with politics. CNN and Fox and CNN, whatever, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, those exist.
All the BCs.
Give me one channel that's just sports.
Yeah. No,
And
I agree with that.
It
100%.
used to exist and it used to be beautiful, and I used to watch it every day, and now you took my love.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about before, we will never like dedicate a certain conversation or discussion to Trump to the point where we'll be talking about him for an extended period of time. But his presence and the way that he's affected this election and the news cycle that followed him in this election made it so all these other networks feel like they almost have to reference it, whether it's a lot or a little. So it's like, because they think that, especially ESPN, like I mentioned earlier, how they're hemorrhaging viewers and hemorrhaging money.
Yeah, they think that they can get clicks, get views, get whatever. and
Exactly,
bring
because
people
in
back
the end, that's all they care about.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
just care about
well,
what's trendy.
Here's the thing. Let's skip number 2 and let's go to number 3, because I think that, again, I have a crazy idea for ESPN that's going to work.
What was number 2?
Number 2 was more specifically about Jamel Hill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I mean, because that was representing the company. And I'll just say a quick thing on that. I think
We'll come back to it.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying let's do number 3 right now because I think number 2 will be longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair
Number 3 is, if you think ESPN is in trouble with their new direction, that they are taking and trying to do more than just reporting sports, how do you go about solving ESPN's problem? And I have the solution. Fucking show sports.
Yeah, right.
It's really not that hard. You are losing viewers, and it's just mind-boggling to me because I 100% agree with you. I think they're bringing Trump into this and bringing politics in general to clickbait you,
Yeah.
and to get you watching. And they're sitting there like, well, why aren't more people watching our network? I don't know. And it blows my mind that no one has sat down and been like, do you think we should show sports highlights?
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, look at Gary over here. What a douche.
Look at this guy. Thinks we should show
sport on the
sports.
sports network.
Ooh.
Maybe we should go back to what we were doing before when it worked.
Hey, Gary, you want to go toss the pigskin around?
Oh, sick, dude. Shut up.
What a
You
douche.
snowflake. Like like I joke, but it's like your top 10 plays, 7 of them are diving football or baseball catches,
Yeah.
and one of them I use
Ronda
this
Rousey.
example every single time because I almost threw. It's the day I knew that ESPN
Yep,
died.
it was the day.
It's
the day of
this
reckoning.
day was when on a top 10 they showed a Ronda Rousey training video. Not even her to fight
Yeah, that
or
was
anything.
unreal. When was
And-
that?
Oh, like 2 years ago when she
Okay.
was relevant. No
Okay.
offense to her, but
I
I
mean,
mean that's just a fact.
Facts.
But I mean, and that wasn't the only one. There's other ones where they'll show like, oh, there's a coach of a high school team that took on a really hard challenge. And
Yeah.
you're gonna be the number 2 play, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I'm really happy that this double bicycle kick right in a goalie's face as he stares him down Ronaldo style didn't make the top 10. You're right. That probably shouldn't have been in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a hole in one or something. Like, show sports highlights.
Yeah.
Just go back to what you did. Just show sports. I will watch whatever you throw in my face. It could be volleyball, it could be curling, it can be anything. I will consume it. Just shove it in my face. Like, that's all it takes. And no one is going to go to ESPN and no one's going to ask Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, who the fuck ever, Jamel Hill or
Yeah.
Mike, whoever, Mike and Mike, whoever, Colin Cowherd, no one is asking them for their political opinions.
Yeah.
And that's not a dig on them. That's not your job. Your job was to be a sports anchor. That's how you're supposed to entertain us. This isn't, like I said, if I want to learn about current events or world affairs, I'll just hop over to whatever news station I feel that represents me the best, I guess, or I want to learn over there. So if it's AP or Reuters for you, or it's BBC for me, whatever it is, I'll go there. But ESPN, you're a sports network. Be a sports network.
Yeah.
And Big Ten Network, Pac-12 Network, SEC Network, they all do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
It's not that tough.
Yeah. And with ESPN, SC6 with Jamel Hill, and Mike, what's his?
I can't even remember. I was trying to think of it.
Mike Smith, maybe? Smith sounds familiar.
Michael Smith sounded like I thought that was it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure.
It's a very verbatim name or a very common name, but I think that actually is his name because that's the only. They don't have SportsCenter anymore, right? Because that's what they turned SportsCenter into is SportsCenter 6 or whatever.
Well, no, they still do.
Oh, really?
And then they have SportsCenter at night with
SVP.
SVP,
Yeah.
who is the fucking man.
Yeah, I love SVP
I love
so
SVP
much.
so much.
So much.
But again, look at what SVP did. He literally, when the LeVar Ball stuff come out, said, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm done. They're not interesting to me. We're going to talk about sports. And guess what he does every single time he's on? He talks about sports, and he talks about cool sports stories, and it's perfect.
Because we talked about the whole LeVar Ball situation, and when he first came into the limelight and was saying all that dumbass stuff, and we were talking about it, it's like, what was his first quote saying something about beating Michael Jordan in a one-on-one?
Yeah.
It's like, that's every dad that's
exactly.
3 beers deep at a bar saying this stuff. Why are they not on SportsCenter? Just because his son's good at basketball, it means that he's automatically this personality that we have to mention every single day.
Anyone that's been in sports knows that if there's one kid that's like kind of good on your team, their dad's saying the same shit. There's thousands, beyond thousands of LeVar Balls in the U.S.
Yeah.
Lonzo's just really good. Yeah, he went number 2 in the draft. I get that. Not every dad has that son. Not every dad has 3 sons that go D1. Sure. But there are other ones out there.
Yeah.
And they're saying the same shit. I don't give a fuck that he thinks that his kid's better than Steph Curry. And guess what? Steph Curry doesn't give 2 shits.
Yeah, and then there's like 6 cameras at his high school, his AAU basketball games now.
Well, and they have a reality show now called Ball in the Family.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on.
Am I going to hate on LeVar Ball? No, because dude's fucking cashing in.
Well,
But
yeah.
I'm hating on the network itself for giving him that
And LeVar
platform.
Ball's a douche.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I won't hate on him because he's making money, but I'll hate on him for being a douche.
Yeah, well, and saying stupid shit.
Yeah.
When he went on Colin Cowherd, he absolutely just reamed Christine and treated her like shit. And I was like, dude, you're just like...
When he got that female ref kicked out.
Oh, yeah. It's just like, come on, man. Whatever. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah. Would you agree a solution would be to just show sports?
I mean, it's very complex. And
I
think
we can get there.
Very
though.
revolutionary.
Yeah. This is some forward thinking here.
Yeah, but I would agree.
All right. So then number 2 was, do you think that Jamel Hill should be punished or for exercising her First Amendment rights? I think she shouldn't be fired for political beliefs, but has to be aware that she represents the company and not herself. I'll let you go first because I kind of went first last time.
Okay, so my opinion with this is that as long as she represents the company, and that is true 100%, but as long, because the tweet that set the world on fire pretty much was a tweet exactly from her personal account, not her account that was linked to her personality on SportsCenter or through ESPN. It was with her personal account, her name, her picture, everything. So if she is able to not on the show, because I would agree with Adam to the point where I'm sure ESPN would do something if she literally got on SportsCenter 6 and was like, I think Trump is a white supremacist. Yeah. And that would be in a much different situation because she is participating in their program and she is currently on the job. So it's like, and it goes into in a regular sense too. If I'm at a job and I swear up a storm and curse out one of my coworkers or something like that, my boss has every right to fire me. But if I say something on Twitter that's like, I mean, I guess social media could come back and bite you, but yeah, I guess that's a good point. I don't know, because I just think that, like he said, she should have the right to have her own political beliefs. But if you're going to take such a hard line stance like that and take it to that much extreme rather than just saying, yeah, I just don't like Trump, and then go to that extreme, like I said, then if I were her boss, would I recommend like any punishment? No, but if there were punishment, I could definitely see how it would happen.
If I'm looking at this as a regular employee, and anyone that's applied for a job knows that you're going to get your social media tracked. And for instance, my dad was an educator, and there was teachers, high school teachers, that didn't get jobs because there's pictures of them and they were holding a beer.
Yeah.
And that's it. So to me, I kind of lean on the side of, you got to know what you say, and you got to deal, because I said this before in the show. You have a First Amendment right, absolutely. You can say whatever you want, but that doesn't protect you from the ramifications of what you say.
Yeah.
And so for me, if I'm Jemele Hill's employer, I'm looking at her like, what were you thinking?
Why?
Because she does have a personal account, but when you're that famous, you know exactly what you represent.
Yeah.
And you have to know. And this isn't even if you're famous. I mean, there was kids in my intern class for the firm that I interned with who got sent home from intern training because they ran into someone drunk and they were complained to the hotel, found out who they were, and they were sent home. And it's like all they were doing was wearing a shirt with a logo on it.
Yeah.
You always represent whatever you wear. So to me, it's like, okay, Jemele Hill, you were given a platform by a network with thousands of followers automatically because everyone watches you on this network. Okay, you can have your personal account, but you're never not going to be non-ESPN.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No matter what. So do I think she should be fired? Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be too far. Would I have an issue with ESPN saying you just can't say this or you will be fired? That's their right. They can do that. They can say, listen, we don't need this kind of publicity because, again, for me, if I'm ESPN, I want to go back to roots of sports. I'm going to say, Jemele Hill, you got to stick to sports. Now, if you're having a private conversation with somebody or you're at a bar or you're with your friends or whatever and she's saying these things, all fair game.
Yeah, absolutely.
No big deal. But on Twitter, it's like everyone, like we have to be real with each other. We know what we're saying on Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a platform with thousands of people. You know full well what you're saying and what it means and what impact it has for you and your employer. I think you just have to be Adam put it perfectly. I think you just have to be more aware. So if they suspended her, would I be, up in arms like, oh, of course, she calls out Trump? No, because if she said the same thing about Obama, I would say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be careful. And he even brought up earlier, I didn't read it, but he brought up the Kurt Schilling incidents where he was given multiple warnings and he just kept going.
Yeah.
Which is, you just can't do that.
Yeah.
You know this is coming. I don't feel bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
But with Jemele, it's like, now just don't do that.
Yeah, and if they were to fire her, and it goes into the same situation as Kaepernick when the 49ers cut him, it's like, are they saying that you don't have the right to free speech? No, not at all. And if you're an employer, you say, all right, you have the right to free speech, but I have the right to fire you.
Exactly.
It's like and it has nothing to do with me infringing on your free speech. It just has to do with my rights as a business owner in terms of
if you
I
hurt
want my
brand,
employees. Yeah, if you hurt my brand and I want my employees to perform a certain way.
Why would I want to lose money?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm losing money because of your actions, you're gone.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to be. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is.
Do you think ESPN looked at this in any positive light to the point where maybe it did generate more clicks or viewers? Because
it might have.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
You see that headline, see Jemele Hill. It's like, oh, what is she on? Oh, SportsCenter. Oh, maybe I'll watch that. See if she mentioned something else.
And here's the thing. I think it's important to understand that Jemele Hill took a very aggressive stance.
Yeah.
There was no gray area playing both sides. She took a very aggressive stance. And for anyone that agrees with that aggressive stance, you still need to look in the mirror and just tell yourself, listen, if this was flipped, how would I feel?
Yeah.
Because you have your First Amendment right. That doesn't mean that you're protected from the ramifications, and employers also have the right to fire you. You need to respect all those fields and say, look, it's easy to agree. If you're one of those people who agrees with Jemele Hill's stance, then it's easy to say, oh, fuck ESPN, they shouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But if it was flipped, then you should still have that same stance.
Mm-hmm.
You can be consistent with both, but if it was flipped and you're like, oh, well, I mean, this is a totally different scenario, then you don't really understand what the problem is. So with Jemele Hill, it's like she could have said anything, but if it's that divisive, then she has to understand what she's saying. She has to be aware.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with the First Amendment. It's easy to defend when people are screaming the stuff that you agree with. It kind of sucks to defend the things that people don't agree with, but you still have to do it because it's the First Amendment,
Yeah.
and that's what it means. It's defending the freedoms, even if people are using it not for the reason that you want them to.
Yeah. And from the activist point of view, if you are, because when one of the things that has become more common in at least in the last week or 2 weeks or so is that people saying the whole stay in your lane type of thing, or like if you're on sports, stick to sports, politics, stick to politics. And specifically with celebrities and people that are famous, because you look at Jemele Hill's platform, and let's say her reasoning behind doing what she did and holding that First Amendment right and wanting to be able to publish something like that on her Twitter feed. If you're going to do it based on, like, if you're a celebrity and people say, oh, just stick to acting, stick to whatever. If you're going to do something and tweet something like that in order to generate a platform to maybe get like a policy change or something worthwhile, like I've seen a bunch of celebrities tweet out in like phone numbers to call their congressman for like to argue against healthcare or Trump's travel ban or whatever you want to do. I mean on both sides, but to tweet out something like, oh, Trump is a white supremacist, like, and if your reasoning is I should have every right to say what I want, and if I have a platform like this, I should be able to use it and help people for good and help like spread knowledge and spread the awareness. That's the word I was looking for. Awareness about situations that are going on. Tweeting that he's a white supremacist, that doesn't help anything.
No,
like
really doesn't.
It does zero help in terms of the grand scheme of things, because regardless of what Trump does, not everyone, but there's always going to be a certain amount of people that think that. So
Right.
It's like, instead of saying, oh, I don't agree with Trump's stance on climate change, and this is why, maybe that will be more reasonable instead of just saying, because then if you just come out and say, oh, he's a white supremacist with no details and no backing and no reasoning, then you're just part of the problem.
Right.
Because it goes to the fact of, what do people can't, and this is one of the things that I can't stand the most about people on both sides, is when they generalize. And when you generalize things, even when it comes to an individual person like Trump, when you generalize and just throw out, like we've talked about before, how people just throw out fascism and Nazi constantly and have no idea what it means.
Right.
And if you throw out just white supremacists, then you're just you're just making a blanket statement on the President of the United States with no backing, no evidence, no fact checks at all. And like I said before, if your claim is that you're using your platform to exercise your free speech and using your platform to spread awareness and get people to kind of change their mind and maybe come to your more thinking, then tweeting something like this in terms of, or as opposed to something constructive that's maybe about a policy change, like I said before, that would be way more beneficial in terms
Right.
of your reasoning behind reaching into politics. Because
Right.
if your argument is, okay, stay in politics or stay in sports because you work for sports, then it's like, okay, if I can come out of sports, which I support no matter what profession you do, you can talk and do whatever the hell you want. If you're an
Yeah.
actor or celebrity, because that's my point, is that if you have this platform and if you feel this passionate about something, or if you believe in something this much, then you should use your platform for good.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio has a bunch of Twitter followers, like in the millions, and is obviously one of the biggest actors on the planet. He won an Oscar for the first time ever, and it's like he's one of those actors where he's never won an Oscar, so it was like a huge deal that he did finally. And when he finally did, what was the first thing that he fucking said in his speech?
Climate change.
Yeah, talked about climate change and how he saw it firsthand. That's what you do if you're a celebrity and you want to use your platform for good, and not, no one's ripping on Leo to stick to acting when he's talking about this stuff and doing these types of speeches. So am I ripping on Jemele Hill for saying that? No. But if your reasoning and your backing of tweeting that is to say that you want to use your platform to spread awareness and to use it for good and to have people change to your more mind or thinking, then that's just the wrong way to do it.
Yep. I mean, the last point I'll make, you have the First Amendment right. Okay, you use it as long as it's within the legal bounds. It's fine. Because like in Charlottesville, running into a group of protesters and killing someone with your car is not legal. So you forego your First Amendment right. Throwing bricks into cop cars like they did in St. Louis, that's not
looting liquor stores. That's not
helping any cause you forego your First Amendment right. Tweeting something very decisive as an employee within your First Amendment right, but okay, now let's move on to you have to deal with the consequence.
Yeah, and it's even to the point where if she even tweeted out he has white supremacist tendencies or he seems to be on the side of them, that would be so much better rather than just say he is it. There's no doubt. It's done.
Yeah.
It's fact.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was just a knee-jerk
Yeah.
tweet in the moment. But, I mean, overall, I would just say I wouldn't fire her. Just let her know. But if they tell her you can't do this anymore, she has to abide by it.
Yeah.
That's her employer.
Or, I mean, you can tweet all you want,
or
but find another job.
or start your own network and then do all you want.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
fine. That's fine too. That's okay. You can do that.
Yeah.
And that's what some people do. But if you're on someone's platform that wants things done a certain way, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And I would hope, honestly, the ESPN would just say, listen, can we just leave politics to get all together out of this?
Yeah.
But some of them probably wouldn't like that.
Because whether you throw in a lot or a little, I mean, like you said, it's always going to be intertwined, especially nowadays. But if you take a hardline enough stance to the point where we're not going to say anything, maybe you get some of those viewers back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you, Adam, for the
Yep.
topic suggestion. Obviously, it was a big heated topic the last few weeks and going into this weekend as well. So it was definitely natural that we talked about it. So thank you,
Yeah.
Adam. And if you want to get your post on our show, or if you want to get us to talk about a certain topic, donate $5 on patreon.com/TJENT. Like I said, donate $5, post it on the wall, and we will absolutely discuss it.